They slept as if the world outside the room no longer existed. A single blanket covered them both, tangled from a restless night that had ended with quiet breaths and shared warmth. Moonlight slipped through the thin curtains, painting their skin in silver shadows. The room was silent. No screams from hell, no whispers from heaven, just two hearts beating too close. She lay against him, her cheek resting on his chest. His heartbeat was slow, heavy, not human. Yet every time she moved closer, it softened, as if her presence calmed the monster inside him. She traced a lazy line along his shoulder beneath the blanket. "You're awake," she murmured. "I never really sleep," he replied. His voice was low, controlled, carrying something ancient beneath it. She tilted her head, looking up at him. In the dark, his eyes glowed faintly red, not threatening, just honest. He never hid what he was from her. A devil. And still, she felt safe. "You could have left," she said quietly. "You always say you don't belong here." His arm tightened around her waist, pulling her closer. "If I leave," he said, "I remember what I am." She smiled sadly. "And when you're with me, I forget." That was the lie that hurt the most, because both of them wanted to believe it. She lifted herself slightly, their faces inches apart. His breath brushed her lips. For a moment, neither moved. The air between them felt heavy, charged with something deeper than desire, something dangerous. Her fingers slid into his hair. He closed his eyes. Their lips met. The kiss was slow, unhurried, not desperate, not wild, just intimate, as if they were memorizing each other, afraid this moment would be the last time they could. He kissed her back gently, carefully, like he was holding something fragile. His hand rested on her back, warm despite the hellfire that lived inside his veins. Shadows along the walls shifted, reacting to him, but he forced them still. She sighed into the kiss, pressing closer beneath the blanket. Her heartbeat raced. He felt it. He always did. That was the problem. Every emotion she felt echoed inside him, magnified. Love didn't weaken him. It poisoned him. He broke the kiss, forehead resting against hers. "You shouldn't love me," he whispered. She smiled, brushing her thumb across his jaw. "You don't get to choose that for me." A faint pain flickered behind his eyes. If she knew the truth, if she knew what hell demanded of him. A sudden burning sensation spread across his chest. He stiffened. She noticed instantly. "What's wrong?" "Nothing," he lied. Beneath the blanket, a dark sigil slowly began to glow against his skin. Ancient, cruel, unforgiving. The mark of hell. The reminder of his purpose. He turned slightly, hiding it from her view. She moved closer again, unaware, her leg brushing against his. "You're shaking." "I'm afraid," he admitted. She blinked, surprised. "Of what?" He looked at her, really looked at her, the way moonlight kissed her face, the trust in her eyes, the way she loved him without knowing the cost. "Of hurting you," he said. She leaned in, pressing a soft kiss to his lips, then his cheek. "You never have." The mark burned hotter. Hell didn't agree. Far beneath the earth, something ancient stirred. A contract older than love tightened its grip. Devils were not meant to keep what they loved. They were meant to destroy it. He pulled her into his arms, holding her tighter than before, as if he could shield her from fate itself. "Stay close tonight," he said hoarsely. "I'm not going anywhere," she replied. That was the lie she told herself. Outside, clouds swallowed the moon. The room darkened. Shadows grew longer, heavier, listening. As she drifted back to sleep against his chest, he stared at the ceiling, eyes glowing faintly red, jaw clenched in silent agony. He had been given a choice. Love her or kill her. And the cruelest punishment of all was that he had already done the first. He woke before she did. The room was still dark, the blanket tangled around them, her body warm and trusting against his side. For one fragile moment, he pretended this was all there was. No hell, no contracts, no blood-written fate. Then the pain returned. A sharp, searing burn tore through his chest. He bit down hard on his jaw, refusing to make a sound. Beneath the blanket, the sigil glowed brighter now. angry, pulsing like a second heart. The mark of hell had awakened fully. It was time. A whisper crawled into his mind, deep and ancient. "You've delayed long enough." He closed his eyes. "Not yet," he whispered back. The whisper laughed. "You were never meant to love her. You were sent to claim her." She shifted in her sleep, her fingers curling instinctively into his arm, as if she could sense him pulling away even in dreams. That small movement nearly broke him. He gently slipped from beneath the blanket and stood by the window. Outside, the city slept peacefully, unaware that hell had chosen a victim. "Her, you promised," the whisper said. "A soul of purity, a heart untouched by darkness." "She's innocent," he growled silently. "Exactly." The air behind him darkened, thickening like smoke. A shape formed, tall, faceless, wings carved from shadow. A messenger of hell. "The order stands," it hissed. "At dawn." He turned, eyes blazing red. "If I refuse?" "Then you'll be dragged back to hell," the entity replied. "And she will die screaming anyway." The choice was never a choice. The shadow vanished, leaving the room heavy and cold. Behind him, she stirred awake. "You're up early," she said softly, sitting up and pulling the blanket around herself. "Bad dream." He turned to face her. Gods, she was beautiful like this. Sleep-tousled hair, bare shoulders, eyes full of trust. No fear, no suspicion. He forced a smile. Something like that. She stood and walked toward him, wrapping her arms around his waist. "You disappear sometimes," she murmured against his chest. "Like you're already leaving." His hands trembled as they rested on her back. "I don't want to," he said honestly. She pulled back slightly, searching his face. "Then don't." If only it were that simple. Later that night, they sat together on the edge of the bed, candlelight flickering between them. He watched every movement she made, every smile, every breath, memorizing her like a dying man memorizes life. She leaned in, kissing him softly. This time, the kiss was different. Desperate, hungry, as if some part of him knew this was the last time he was allowed to want her without blood on his hands. He kissed her back harder, pulling her closer, burying his face against her neck. The shadows in the room writhed, reacting to his loss of control. Her breath caught, not in fear but in surprise. "Hey!" she whispered, touching his face. "What's wrong?" He rested his forehead against hers, breathing unevenly. "If I asked you to trust me completely," he said, "would you?" She didn't hesitate. "Yes." That single word shattered him, because love had sealed her fate. He kissed her again, slow, deep, lingering, pouring everything he could never say into it. Regret, desire, goodbye. Outside, thunder rolled. Hell was counting the hours. As she rested her head on his shoulder afterward, unaware of the execution written into the night, he stared into the darkness, eyes glowing brighter than ever. Love had not saved him. It had only made the punishment worse. At dawn, he would become what he truly was. Night felt like a sentence. The city lights flickered on, unaware that dawn had already sealed her fate. He stood in the doorway, watching her move around the room, humming softly as if this were any other evening. She wore one of his shirts, too big for her, sleeves falling past her hands. The sight cut deeper than any blade. "You're quiet," she said, turning to him. "Did I do something wrong?" "No," he answered quickly. "You did everything right. Too right." He crossed the room and pulled her into his arms. She relaxed instantly, fitting against him as if she belonged there. The mark on his chest burned, furious now, impatient. Hell was close. He could feel it breathing down his spine. "I want to go somewhere," he said. "One last walk." She smiled. "One last? You make it sound dramatic." He forced a laugh. "Humor me." They walked to the old chapel ruins at the edge of the city, the place she loved because it was quiet, broken, forgotten. Moonlight poured through a collapsed roof, bathing the stone in pale silver. Shadows clung to the corners like waiting witnesses. She stepped inside, arms out, spinning slowly. "I love this place," she said. "It feels honest." He followed, heart pounding. Honest places were where blood was spilled. He stopped in the center of the ruins. The air thickened. The shadows rose higher, stretching toward him, responding to his true nature. He clenched his fists, forcing them back. She noticed. "Hey," she said softly, reaching for him. "What's happening?" He took her hands. His were shaking. "There's something I never told you," he said. She searched his face, suddenly serious. "You're scaring me." "I never meant to," he whispered. "I never meant to love you." The mark flared. The ruins groaned as if the stones themselves understood what was coming. He leaned in and kissed her. This kiss was different from all the others. It was slow, deep, final. He poured everything into it. Every moment they shared, every night beneath the blanket, every lie he told to protect her. She kissed him back, confused at first, then melting into him, trusting him with her entire heart. Her fingers tightened in his hair. The shadows screamed. He pulled back, forehead resting against hers. "I'm sorry," he breathed. "For what?" she asked. The blade formed in his hand. Not metal, but pure hellfire, shaped by ancient command. It trembled as much as he did. Her eyes widened. "No," she whispered. "You wouldn't." "I don't have a choice." Tears spilled down her cheeks. "You said you loved me." "I do," he said, voice breaking. "That's why this hurts." She shook her head, backing away. "Then don't do it. Please." He stepped forward, each movement feeling like betrayal carved into his bones. Hell roared inside him. He caught her as she stumbled, holding her close. Too close for escape. She pressed her forehead against his chest, sobbing softly. "I trusted you," she whispered. The words shattered him. He kissed her one last time, gentle, trembling, his lips lingering as if he could somehow rewrite fate with affection alone. "I'll carry you forever," he promised. The blade struck. It was fast, merciful. Her breath hitched once, eyes wide with shock, and then softness. He held her as she collapsed, lowering her to the cold stone, cradling her like something precious, something stolen. The shadows receded. The mark on his chest burned, then went dark. Hell was satisfied. He screamed, raw, broken, inhuman, as the ruins echoed with his grief. He pressed his forehead to hers, tears falling freely now. "I'm sorry," he whispered again and again. "I'm so sorry." Her eyes stared back at nothing. Or so he thought. A faint warmth pulsed beneath his hands. The air shifted. Far below the ruins, something ancient stirred, amused, because hell always collects its debt. And love never dies quietly. He buried her at sunrise, not in a graveyard, not among strangers. He buried her where she first laughed with him, beneath the old black tree near the ruined chapel. The earth was cold, silent, unforgiving. He dug with his bare hands, skin tearing, blood mixing with soil, but he didn't feel the pain. Pain had already won. When it was done, he knelt there, staring at the fresh earth as if she might rise again just to tell him this was another cruel joke. She didn't. The mark on his chest was gone. The contract fulfilled. He was free. Freedom tasted like ash. Days passed. The world moved on. People laughed in streets. Lovers kissed without fear. Life continued. Unaware that hell had just claimed its price, he stopped sleeping. Every time he closed his eyes, he felt her lips again. That final kiss. The moment love and death became the same thing. At night, the shadows returned, not to command him, but to mock him. "You did well." A voice whispered from the darkness of his room. He didn't look up. "Leave me alone." A figure emerged, tall, elegant, crowned in horns carved from obsidian. Hell itself wearing a smile. "You loved her," the devil said calmly. "That was your sin. We merely corrected it." "She trusted me," he growled. "You turned love into a weapon." The devil chuckled. "Love always is." He rose slowly, eyes burning red once more. "You said killing her would set me free." "And it did," the devil replied. "From hope." The truth hit harder than the blade ever had. Hell had never wanted her soul. It wanted his. "You don't owe me any more," he said through clenched teeth. The devil tilted its head. Look around. The walls melted away. He stood suddenly in the same ruins where he killed her. Moonlight, cold stone, blood-stained memory. Her body lay before him again, eyes open, lifeless. "No," he whispered. "This is your eternity." The devil said softly, "Not fire, not chains, memory." He fell to his knees, crawling to her illusion, hands shaking as he reached for her face. "I'm sorry," he sobbed. "I never wanted." Her eyes blinked. He froze. She inhaled sharply, sitting up, alive, just as she had been before the blade struck. She looked at him with the same love, the same trust. Hope exploded in his chest. "You're here," she whispered, smiling. He grabbed her, holding her desperately. "I won't let them take you again." She kissed him, warm, real. For one perfect second, he believed. Then the blade appeared in his hand. His body moved against his will. "No, stop," he screamed. Her eyes filled with terror as realization struck. "Please." The blade fell. Again, and again, and again. Each time resetting. Each time love turning into murder. Each time her forgiveness, killing him slower than any torture. The devil's voice echoed everywhere. "This is what you chose. Love without obedience. Desire without restraint." The ruins vanished. He awoke alone in the dark room again, gasping, tears soaking his face. His hands were empty, but stained red in his mind. He understood now. Hell didn't punish hatred. It punished love. He stood and walked a mirror. His reflection stared back. No longer just a devil, but something worse. A lover who kills. Outside, couples passed beneath streetlights, unaware that love had already damned one of its own. He pressed his palm to his chest where the mark once burned. "I loved her," he whispered. The shadows answered softly. "And that," they said, "was your punishment."